Welcome to Pulse of Cyber Command. My name is Terrence, and here is where we take command of our cyber life. I want to thank all returning viewers and new viewers. Today, we're going to do a reaction on someone that I've been looking up to for a while, past probably about 4 years. Sandra, Tech and Lifestyle. You may have heard of her before, but we're going to react to her most recent video. Do you need IT experience before cybersecurity? Here's what they're not telling you. So, I'm interested to see what she thinks about that because I actually started out in IT myself. So it's good to learn these things from seasoned professionals. So let's get right into it.
Do you need to work in IT to get into cybersecurity? I think this is probably one of the most common questions that you guys ask me, which also in turn goes back to the question of whether or not cybersecurity entry-level jobs are actually a thing. So I know there are a lot of opinions out there on this, and there are lots of people who say that the only way to get into cybersecurity is to first start in IT and then make your way and pivot into cybersecurity. Personally, I do think that this is a potential roadmap into cybersecurity, but I also don't think that it's the only roadmap. Like for example, personally, I went through a cybersecurity rotation program after I graduated with my degree, and I did not have any IT experience. In fact, I came from a software engineering background, which personally I think is even less connected to cybersecurity compared to IT, since IT and cybersecurity sometimes can go hand in hand. I wouldn't necessarily say the same thing about cybersecurity and software engineering, even though scripting could probably be a transferable skill there. So if you're looking for a short and simple answer for whether or not you need IT to get into cybersecurity, I personally think the answer is no, you do not, but it can be a very popular entryway into cybersecurity. And again, this all goes back to how much experience you have at your starting point. For example, there are people who may be pivoting into cybersecurity from another field. Maybe they already have experience, even if they're non-technical, or if you're someone who already has technical projects on your resume because that's something that you like to do as a hobby. Everyone is starting at a different place, at a different skill level. So while there isn't necessarily a guarantee that that person with no cybersecurity experience or background can go straight into an entry-level cybersecurity role and succeed, but that also doesn't mean that they can't get that experience through cybersecurity courses, boot camps, training that they do on their own, working on technical projects, building their home lab, and then putting all of that experience on their resume and then applying to entry-level cybersecurity roles. That'll probably give them a much higher success rate compared to starting out from scratch. I've said this in previous videos, but teams like IT and SRE are the teams that really keep the lights on, keep everything running in every single company across the world, and any company that has any kind of infrastructure. So IT is definitely very important, and there are definitely topics in IT that overlap with cybersecurity. And I think that's another reason why there's this misconception that you have to start in IT as a stepping stone before you make that jump into cybersecurity. And of course, there are a lot of soft skills and hard skills that are transferable, whether it be troubleshooting, working on a ticketing queue, reviewing requests, reviewing security or support requests, and being in conversations that impact the overall infrastructure or architecture of a project or a specific product. So although an IT background can be a nice to have,
I think it's also important to note that you definitely those skills are transferable. She's 100% correct about that. But I also think it's important to note that it also depends on your path. If you're looking to be a pen tester, you know, like she said, you want to do certain, projects and CTFs and, network with other pen testers to, get, the experience or the know-how to actually break in and get into that path. But for me, I took the kind of roundabout way. I kind of did what Sandra did. She started in software engineering, I started in IT. And I just continued to learn and kind of progressed into other roles. And then I had a software engineer role for a short time. But yeah, it's definitely important to take that into account. What's your path? What's your niche? A lot of professionals will say. So once you know that, I think that really helps you focus on your path and what you need to do to actually succeed in this industry. So let's go ahead and continue.
If you're considering a cybersecurity career, this is what you can do instead to supplement that so that you can avoid this chicken and egg situation of you need experience to get a job, but you need a job to get experience. Firstly, I would start out with the very, very basics. This is typically going to be a very general cybersecurity course or studying for a beginner cybersecurity certification. The Security Plus is a very popular one. I have lots of resources on my channel on how I passed that certification when I was in my early career. Another option is the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate. This is, again, a very popular certification for beginners in
I may eventually
cybersecurity.
get
This
that.
video
I
is
don't
not
know.
sponsored, but I can link their course, and I've
I'm
done
not sure
reviews
yet.
of the certificate on my channel, so feel free to check that out in the description. But essentially, this will cover the basics
me,
of
it'd
what
be
you'll need to know,
unnecessary,
whether it be
but
basic scripting skills,
I know a lot of
SIEMs,
people who are
logging, security
transitioning
incidents,
or just starting
vulnerabilities,
out.
threats, and malware.
Google
It's essentially like a
Cybersecurity
cybersecurity
certificate, I
101
hear
course,
good
plus
things
hands-on
about for
technical
those
labs that you can work
folks.
on, that you can
But
also, by the way, put on
if
your
you're
resume
already
and really
in,
help boost you a little bit, along with this video
I
that I
don't
made
necessarily
recently on
think
the
that
top
it's
beginner level
necessary, but
projects for cybersecurity. If you really think about it, your main goal here is to get as much evidence on your resume that you're able to do the job, that you're capable enough to learn new things, and that you have interest in the subject. So this essentially means courses or certifications, technical cybersecurity projects, and an extra cherry on top is anything around volunteering or some kind
dog
of
is
proof that
whining.
you're
Don't
in
mind
the
him.
cybersecurity community. This could be B-sides, this could be being a Discord
So
moderator,
needy.
creating cybersecurity walkthroughs on your blog or your personal
Why do you
portfolio.
smell
It could
like
even be
fish?
things like attending cybersecurity conferences or giving a talk at a local school. There's so many ways to get that extracurricular experience onto your resume, not to mention open source projects. And with these three things, you can prove to employers that firstly, you have the credentials and the foundational knowledge. Secondly, you have the hands-on experience. You're not afraid to get your hands dirty working on projects, digging deeper into specific topics that you're interested in, whether it be malware analysis, digital forensics, blue team, red team, and then finally the extracurricular stuff to wrap it all in a bow to show that you're active in the community and you keep up with news and trends that are always evolving and changing in the cybersecurity space. Of course, this is just one way of getting into cybersecurity, and this is probably the most non-traditional way, where it's kind of like a do-it-yourself kind of thing, where you're essentially creating your own curriculum by taking XYZ course, XYZ certification, doing XYZ project, and then adding that onto your resume, and then using that portfolio to apply to jobs.
There it is.
The two other ways to get into
There it is. She nailed it. That's exactly it. I always try and tell folks who are just breaking in that you want to have a diverse portfolio. You want to have a combination of things. And they preached that to me towards the end of my bachelor's, which, I kind of got out the gate late when I finished my bachelor's because I should have already been doing like internships and projects outside of school. But, it was still a great program. But she's 100% correct. You need to, be going for a foundational certification. You need to be going for a course. I know some folks go to boot camps. There's mixed reviews on that, and educating yourself in some combination of ways, while also networking. In my opinion, I think networking is huge. So that'll definitely help you in the long run.
cybersecurity are through a degree program or through a cybersecurity bootcamp. So obviously the most traditional is going to be the degree route. If you go for an associate's, a bachelor's, I personally don't think that you need a master's for most roles in tech, unless you're going into academia, you're going into research, you're in data science. But I would say most roles in tech, like software engineering, cybersecurity, data analytics, you probably don't need a master's degree. That is, of course, another credential, but it's not necessarily a requirement to get a job.
I'm
In
getting
fact,
a
in some
master's
cases,
degree.
that could end up making you overqualified, where companies may not hire you because they may expect that they have to pay you more because you have a master's degree. So that's why I think if you go the degree route,
Yeah,
then
you don't
a
have to get
bachelor's
a
is
master's
more than
degree.
enough to
Maybe
get an
later
entry
down the
level role
line.
in
Me
cybersecurity.
personally,
Of course, a bachelor's takes time
I
and
love learning.
a lot of planning. I
You
did
know,
my degree
I'm a
program
lifelong
in
learner,
IT. By the
and
way, for those of you who may be currently researching different
know,
cybersecurity boot camps, I do want to share one
I
that I
could see
recommend, which is
myself.
the Springboard Cybersecurity Bootcamp, which also has a get a
I could
job.
see myself down the line getting a doctorate in a STEM another STEM discipline, maybe computer science. I'm not 100% sure yet. I haven't thought too much about it, but I love my master's program. I feel as if I have, you know, learned even more based on my bachelor's, and it's way more hands on. I realize I did have hands on work in my bachelor's program, cybersecurity program, but my master's cybersecurity, incredibly hands on, and I'm very uh, very in touching communicating with the staff and my career center and things like that really helped me here. So you don't have to get a master's, but I know at me being a lifelong learner, I was on a roll, so I kept going, and hopefully that will pay off after I graduate this summer, 2024. But let's go ahead and finish and see what else she has to say.
Or get your money back guarantee if you qualify for their job guarantee. And this would be perfect for anyone who is currently a beginner in cybersecurity. You don't need to have any previous experience. It's a 6-month online bootcamp. They have a great curriculum, great teachers, and they've also given me a $1,000 discount code for my audience. And you can find more details about the Springboard Cybersecurity Bootcamp and check whether or not you qualify for their job guarantee linked in my description below. And by the way, I recently made a free cybersecurity beginner guide and roadmap for anyone who is new to cybersecurity. This is also a great place to get started.
Awesome.
And I'll also link that free guide down in my description as well. When I was figuring out my plans between going to college, going to boot camp, or DIY, which DIY wasn't really as big of an option back then, but this was back in 2015. And that was really when boot camps were, I think, just becoming really popular and people were really talking about it and whether or not you could even get a job with a boot camp. So the degree back then may have made the most sense for me. But nowadays, I feel like your options are kind of limitless. I've had coworkers who came from boot camp who were self-taught, who took a few courses and then ended up being a natural red teamer and then ended up pen testing, even though their background was originally non-technical. So there are lots of ways into cybersecurity, but bootcamp is a popular one because it's relatively short-term compared to a degree program, and it's also at a quarter of the cost of a typical 2-year or 4-year degree. The two programs I talk about the most on my channel are the Springboard Cybersecurity Bootcamp. That one has a job guarantee if you qualify, and that's another reason why I recommend it. But if you're also interested in a role like GRC or Governance, Risk, and Compliance, which is more of a non-technical cybersecurity role, then I would recommend checking out Techpreneurs Club, which is also linked in my description. But of course, there are lots of programs out there. It's really up to you to find the one that is best suited for your needs and what you're looking for. But just make sure that when you're looking for one, you find programs with career support, which basically means helping you apply to jobs, helping you do mock interviews, basically prepare your resume, prepare your LinkedIn, get you job ready so that when you do start applying, it makes the process a whole lot easier for you. Because I find that's typically where a lot of people get stuck after they finish a program, they finish a boot camp, or they finish a course. They don't really know what to do next. And having that career guidance is a really important part of any program that you end up paying for. All right, so that is it for this video. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below, your thoughts on this. I know there are a lot of opinions on whether or not you should go for a degree, a boot camp, a certification, if just a certification is enough to get a job. In fact, I think that would be a pretty cool video to do as well. If you guys are interested in that topic, let me know and I'll add that to my backlog. And I'm testing out this mic one last time. Personally, I think the mic sounds good, but sometimes it sounds like I'm an official and I'm like talking and it just doesn't sound as good when I play it back on my laptop. So it may just be my audio, but yeah, let me know. Let me know
I'm always worried about audio.
But that's it for this video. Let me know if you guys have any other questions, comments, feel free to drop them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I don't know when I'll be posting this video, but hopefully you had a good holiday season and a good new year. And I'm really excited to go into 2024 with you guys. Thanks again so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
She's awesome. Love Sandra, man. She's one of the real ones, in my opinion. She doesn't water things down. They're always easy to understand, and she has obviously a unique take on the cybersecurity industry. And this was a very good video. I could definitely relate to a lot of things she was speaking about. But at the same time, I like I said, networking, I agreed with the portfolio. I had to learn that myself, and I started LinkedIn, and that kind of was like my launch pad for where I was posting my home labs. So I do have prior videos about that. I even did a Microsoft Azure hardening lab, but I have a folder full of labs, and I haven't even done all of them, but I definitely will be doing more in the future. Right now I'm working on Hack the Box. So thanks, guys, for dropping by and checking out my reaction. Definitely like, subscribe the video. I really appreciate you, and keep a finger on the pulse of cyber, and have a good one.